Hey everyone, today we're talking ice versus heat. Which one's better? When should I use each one? How long should I use them for? So both ice and heat have a purpose. They are both beneficial, but the timing in which they're used is important in order to maximize recovery time. So when there is an injury, there's a natural healing process that occurs within the body. And sometimes this can be whether it's from a traumatic event like a fall or something that just gradually kind of comes on over time. But there's inflammation and swelling that is brought into the area. And sometimes you can see this visibly, something like a fall or like a sprain. But then sometimes you can't see it because it's happening deeper within the muscles and the tissues. Just know that it is a natural process that occurs. So a little bit of inflammation, swelling after an injury isn't necessarily a terrible thing. It's just the body doing its job. But one thing I do want to mention about both ice and heat is that they are temporary measures. So they can provide relief short term, but it's not the long-term solution. So pain is a warning sign. It's a signal that something is off or something isn't right. So your best option is to find a provider who can tell you what's going on so you can take the steps needed to solve the issue long term so it doesn't continue to linger around. Okay, so I just wanted to throw that in there for you. So when should I use each one? When's the best time to use them? Ice is great for any acute injury or any type of new injury. And by acute, technically that means within the first 30 days, but ice is most beneficial within the first couple weeks following an injury. And this is because ice is a vasoconstrictor, so it closes off the blood vessels a little bit to limit the amount of swelling and inflammation being brought to the area. Ice can be performed multiple times throughout the day, but just be sure to limit the time to no more than 20 minutes per session, because anything longer than that can actually have the opposite effect on the blood vessels. So we don't want that. And then finally with ice, I would recommend using it at the end of the day, because while activity, movement, exercises, it's all good for healing and for recovery, but it can also flare things up a little bit. And this is typically felt towards the end of the day when you're starting to kind of wind down. Now heat, on the other hand, it works by vasodilating. So it opens up those blood vessels to bring in more blood flow, more oxygen delivery, more nutrients to the area. So this is good for anything in regards to tight muscles, stiffness, or warming up before activity. So once you're getting 3, 4, 5 weeks post-injury, heat becomes a good option. Or if you visibly see that any swelling or inflammation starts to go away, heat also is a good option for that. Now, same rules apply with heat as with ice. So you can perform this multiple times throughout the day. Just limit each session to no more than 20 minutes. And then finally, last thing for you is I would avoid using heat immediately following an injury those first couple weeks, because of reasons that we stated earlier. Heat opens up those blood vessels right after an injury occurs. We don't want that to happen. We don't want to accelerate more inflammation and swelling into that area. We want to limit it to a certain extent. So just avoid heat immediately following an injury within the first couple weeks or so. Okay, so that's what we have today. As always, thank you for watching. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to ask, and we will be back with something soon, shortly.